Well, hey, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for November 4th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, etc. So, that song we're hearing is from Columns, 1991 or 1990, 89. Sega Genesis, but other platforms as well. And I was actually just quickly doing a little bit of reading right before, because the music kind of tipped me off on researching that. But Columns was developed by one person, and it was just a colored blot game. I think on like DOS or something, and then Sega came in and said, "Hey, we would like to have this as our answer to Tetris." Changed it to Jules, gave it that Phoenician theme, and it's funny how that kind of worked. Columns was a fun game back, during that time on the Sega Genesis when I guess, yeah, we had Tetris on the Game Boy, if I remember correctly, but Columns was a fun one of those, and I think a lot of games nowadays still take more from Columns than Tetris. I don't know. But all right, let's jump in to what I've been playing. So let's see. I think it started yesterday on stream when I was playing some of the Tsuyu Night, Order of the Alchemists. And then I decided to play some Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. I've beaten the first one. Never played the second one. Just finished the first stage. Fun classic Vania style games. They're like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. That's the main 3D but 2D Metroidvania game, and then like Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is kind of like their answer to the classic Vania, to the Metroidvania. And then jumped into some more Symphony of the Night, and then Cotton 100% just happened to be $1 on Xbox. And Cotton's just one of those shmups, but it's like a cutesy shmup, so it's like I kind of don't care too much, but they're still kind of fun and have good gameplay. Interesting thing about Symphony of the Night, and we can jump into this part now. If I can find, was it this? Yeah. So I might have talked about this yesterday, or maybe that's just me doing my own little research. But so the Dracula X Nocturne in the Moonlight Ultimate 1.1 Sega Saturn. So what this is the Sega Saturn version of Symphony of the Night. Just had some extra stuff, but they take the better parts, some of the dialogue and graphics from the PlayStation, combine it with the Saturn to make it like the ultimate version. And I want to try this. Now, I don't know if this is different than the other one I was even researching, because I don't remember anything about like PS1 script by anybody other than the original people. So it's just kind of cool nowadays that you can get these games that can be ultimate editions. Konami really should be doing this. Konami should be putting an official release of Symphony of the Night on PC, an official release of Symphony of the Night on Switch, and then Xbox 360 has it. I don't know if it's been delisted, but you can play it on Xbox One like I've been doing, and the PS4 has that Requiem collection that also has Rondo of Blood. So I could see next year, if there's not a new Castlevania coming out, because we've had the Dominus collection, Anniversary collection, Requiem, like they are putting these things out. I think either we get the ultimate version of Symphony of the Night or the 3D games in a package. Curse of Darkness, Lament of Innocence, the N64 games, not like the non-Belmont ones. I don't know. But let's, so going back to what I was playing, that was it. It wasn't too much. It was just like sitting on the couch, jumping into a game here and there. I'm still not, and I'm going to go down my list. Yeah, I'm still not really sticking with a game. Ninja Gaiden 4 is probably the closest one, but I haven't played it for a while, of, just sticking with a game and playing through till completion. Yeah, up in the air with that. But we're going to look at some releases this month to see what maybe I could be playing. But we'll move into some news real quick. Now I was just curious about this. The Switch has 154 million consoles sold, which means, oh, and that's 0.01 because it's less than 1,000 units away from surpassing the DS. So think about back when the DS came out and how many it sold. You know, the PS2 has 160 million, which, as crazy as that might seem, we got to remember the PS2 had a DVD player built in, and that was that was the consumer's way of getting a DVD player back then, was just buying a PS2. It's what Microsoft was trying to pull off in the 2000s, and they didn't do it. But yeah, I remember to play the DVD on the Xbox, you had to have a little adapter. Remember that? Okay, and really just looking at this, it's just to show how powerful the DS is, and I almost think it's probably not uh a good idea. I don't know, to add PS2 into this just because of its nature of being a DVD player. I mean, putting something like this PS2 up against the Switch are kind of completely different things. Completely different things. You know, one where you can play your games digitally. You don't even need physical media. PS2, you need physical media. Like, yeah, it's interesting. Let's move on. Okay, Psyvariar 3 launches March 19th, 2026 in Japan. So this is a shooter, but I remember them being 3D, unless I'm wrong. Let's look. No, yeah, I must be wrong because, well, it does like the 3D thing, but it's a 2D shmup, vertical shmup. So already on wish list. I might have done this earlier today. 2026. We're just still getting shmups. Nothing more to add. You know, although I am curious what it is that, and I think Soul Crested did a good job of this, how to be a modern shmup that has a lot of stuff going on. Soul Crested, I need to play that more. But yeah, curious if there's anything else. They have a dynamic difficulty selection, and that unlocks harder routes. Okay. And exclusive boss encounters based on performance. I like that. But I'm curious if they're going to have it, like, I wonder how much it makes sense nowadays to have it where you can save a shmup at any time, or just it does level checkpoints. There's still some shmups you'll still play, modern ones, where I might die in level 5, but then I have to play it over again. Or I die in level 5, and then, I can choose what level to start back out at. Although the goal would be to start from the first level so you'd be as powerful as possible. Let's see. I think that's that. Nintendo upgrades hardware forecast after Switch 2 tops 10 million sales. So I guess this is kind of to bounce off of the previous one about the sales of hardware. And basically, Nintendo Switch 2 is selling like crazy, so they've upped the forecast. So, hey, good news for gaming, especially Switch 2 Nintendo game. Look, I'll talk bad about Nintendo for their legal practices. They did lose that patent that they were trying to, I guess, uphold or whatever. But they are still a games first company, which is great. But then you'll look at performance of some games. So that's anyway, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, really cool that Switch 2 is continuing to sell. I wonder what is helping. Probably just because it's been such a long time, since the Switch. All right, Ninja Gaiden director confirms Castlevania was a big influence. This is something I never knew. I used Castlevania, a game I was really into at the time, as a reference. So let's see. Back in 2023, former Tecmo staffer Hideo Yoshizawa, who served as director on 1988's Ninja Gaiden, posted a series of messages on social media which really dug into the legendary game's genesis and development. The always excellent Shmuplations has translated that thread to present an exhaustive blow-by-blow account of how the game was made, and it's well worth a read. One of the most significant revelations is that Konami's 1986 hit Castlevania was a big influence on the game, despite the pacing of the two being very different. Which I can totally jive with that, because I remember playing Castlevania back on the Nintendo, and it was too hard for me. I liked it, but I didn't ever really bother playing it too much outside of playing the first level until I died, just because it was just too hard for me. And so that's what's funny, how there's this core essence of the original Castlevania I love that gets me to play these modern ones, or I say modern, but the Metroidvania so much. It's like I can recognize how fun a game is, yet being like Volgar the Viking. I love the Volgar games, but I can't get too far. But I love the feel, and it feels good when I do something in them. Anyway, so it's really cool to see this. Let's see. But the speed and tempo of our game was different, and adding that constant up to down movement turned our game into something else entirely. It wasn't just the initial setup that was inspired by Castlevania. Konami's game was using some technical tricks which would inspire Yoshizawa and his team. Our background data structure was modeled on that of Castlevania. Until this point, Tecmo's games included Star Force, stored data in a 16 by 16 tile-map format. In Mighty Bomb Jack, our horizontally scrolling screens were constructed by combining sets of data meant for either the upper or lower half of the screen, but it was virtually impossible to produce Castlevania-esque backgrounds using this method. Upon further research, we discovered that Castlevania seemed to be using 32 by 32 tile maps with 4 8 by 8 images combined into a 16 by 16 data block and 4 16 by 16 blocks merged into one 32 by 32 block. So this kind of gets into all the interesting tricks that were done with the limitations of developing games back then. But it's interesting how much you might have not, or a developer might have not saw it as a limitation, but something they just have to get around, which I think we've kind of lost that in gaming today, especially with engines like Unreal. It's more of you try to get a game to do something, and if you can't figure it out, you just don't do it. But there's usually some way, and it might be some plugin, or I don't know. But anyway, that's just interesting to read about that, because in Ninja Gaiden, like Castlevania, the old original games were too hard for me, but I love the iterations that they've been able to come out with. But funny that I think Ninja Gaiden pulled off the 3D better than Castlevania did. Even though Castlevania's got the N64 stuff, that's 3D. They've got Lament, Curse of Darkness, and then even, the newer non-Belmont ones. They're still not as good. Like, let's look at something. Ninja Gaiden Xbox. Came out in 2004. Curse of Darkness release date 2005. And this is just an example of, like, when you're an Xbox gamer and a PS2 gamer, the 3D action games are just better on Xbox. And I don't know if any off the top of my head I can think of, but I just remember I've never beaten a 3D Castlevania game except for the non-Belmont one that came out, because they made that more modernized, like Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, so if they do, which this is something I was talking about before, if they do a re-release of these 3D Castlevania games, I wonder if they'll add some quality of life improvements. I think that'd be interesting. I wanted to see the Castlevania Lost Dreamcast game. Now, I'm wondering if that's what then became Lament of Innocence. Because I know, for instance, on 32X, there's a Castlevania game. And that became Symphony of the Night on PS1. Oh, I didn't see this. I hope after Gigabash Gamera DLC that Gundam will be promoted on the game crossover. I hope so. I've worked with Bandai in the past. They don't do much with Gundam. And when they do, it doesn't make sense. Like Fortnite, right? They should have had a Fortnite skin. Instead, they had this like game mode that didn't really make sense. But okay, that was that. Yeah, let's look at games that are coming out this year. So what I do is I use gg.deals. It's just a good site to get deals from games. Wow, this game is $949. Okay. Anyway, I'll just go here and go to upcoming games. So like tomorrow. We're seeing Second Son, which I have the demo for. Did I play that or not? Hold up. I haven't played it. Maybe I'll do that here real quick, because I don't know what to expect from that. Okay, let's go back to Unbeatable, Whiskerwood, The Last Caretaker. Let's see. Psyvariar Remastered. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That comes out the 6th, and it's $70. And I mean, I don't know how much longer. I wonder, and this might not be true, but I wonder if, everyone's excited to buy a Switch 2 and they get their Mario Kart, maybe Donkey Kong, but then people aren't buying games as much because $70? Yeah, no. Let's see. Into the Grid, Ambrosia Sky, Valley, Sacred 2 Remaster. That's interesting. I love the first Sacred. Wall World, Wineswept, Luminous Arise. I've been a fan of the Luminous series for some time. Not sure if I will play this one because it's like one of those games where it's like like Vampire Survivors. I've played enough. Goodnight Universe, Winterboro, Inazuma 11, Where Winds Meet. That sounds interesting. I mean, it sounds familiar, but let's see. Okay. It's a Wuxia open world action adventure. That could be good. Let me just add to the wish list. Okay. Let's see what else for November. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. It's going to be on Game Pass, so I'll just try it based on that. Force Strike. Interesting. Roguelite. Come on, people. Even if it is, don't say that it is. Morsels. That looks interesting. A SpongeBob game. Moonlighter 2. Demon School. Neon Inferno. I've played the demo. That's pretty fun. Let's see. There's this Dungeons and Dragons. Demia? I don't know. Outlaws. Oh, I remember this remaster. Yeah. Lucas. That might have been LucasArts or something. Let's see. Avast Steel Tormentor, Motor Racing, Captain. Okay, Terminator 2D No Fate. That's the main one. That was delayed from October 26th to November 26th. So definitely After Blast, Quarantine Zone, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. The rest might just be saying November because there's not a date yet, and then we get into December. So, My Little Puppy. Don't know what that is. CCD. So there's not. So this might not be the full list of everything, but this list is pretty good. There's not too much crazy stuff coming out in November that I'm waiting for. One that wasn't on here actually. That is, and you can actually right now I think it's on mobile. You can actually register, and I think it will download it ahead of time. So if you go to yeah, here we go. I was right on it. The Sonic Rumble. Yeah, it's 17 hours from now that it's going to be available. Yeah, up to 32 players, which is pretty cool. Yeah, really curious how this is going to turn out because with the Fall Guys and Stumble Guys, you could see where there is this room for the sort of platforming obstacle style gaming. But I think what will really help make that successful is having an IP like Sonic on here. And it looks like it has a lot of but not cosmetics. Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah, the cosmetics that come out. That's funny. It says play now, but how is that possible? Oh, that might have been an event or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. And this might not even be any good. And it might just be full of mobile gaming stuff. So, and we'll keep an eye out for that. Okay. Let me quickly jump into Second Son. This comes out tomorrow. It's a first-person shooter. I don't know what to expect. I'll be disappointed if I load it up and it's just a visual novel or walking simulator. All right. I would have to capitalize on Black Friday deals. That is a great idea. That is a great idea. You know what? I'm going to try to keep track of that so that I can talk about those on here because I love. Look, playing video games. Most of the games I'm buying on sale or with a discount or something. Rarely do I buy a game when it comes out at full price. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza was the last one for sure. Start new character. I didn't invert. I might have to go do that, but let's see what this is all about. Second Sun. That is a cool name for a game. But this sun has been spinning for more than a second, if you get me. Is it Unreal Engine? Let's see. I'm going to look that up. Second Sun game engine. Oh, finally. Havoc. No, that's Infamous. That's Infamous Second Son.
The Empire is on the brink of destruction.
No, that's not the right thing. I was just reminded of that Alien Rogue Incursion. I really want to play that. All right, so I'm just going to pick the first one. I'll do that. So this might be a roguelike because it is doing the whole like when you die, blah, blah, blah. So, oh, well, Second Son is kind of a terminology that's been used before Infamous. I think that's why. Although, yeah, Infamous was using a play on that term. Okay. So one thing's for sure. Invert Y, and it's right there, and it knows. Okay. Inspect orb. Heed my call. Okay. And then another one. I hope this doesn't turn out to just be like mist, but I'm pretty sure it said boomer shooter. Oh, I can't go over there? Oh my god. Okay, so I guess I just had to talk to the orbs. Oh. Ancient apocalyptic Elder Scrolls. Yeah, that is a good way to describe it. And all right, opening eyes. Hello? Okay. This looks pretty cool, but I just want to play the game. Uh-oh. Fluffy. 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 Fluffy's barking. West Point Camp. Look, I just want to run around and shoot things. Let's go out into the world and see. Oh my god, I got to report to a guy. Okay, so I will say I'm the type of person that when I'm playing a game, I want it to display its mechanics before it's trying to tell me about the story. Because, you know, I play games to play the mechanics, not really to enjoy a story. I mean, if a story's good in a game, that's great, but... Okay, we'll go over here. All right. Did I oversleep? The Tangled Depths, want to destroy. Okay, I'm being asked to destroy something. The movement and speed is very much, you know, classic FPS movement. So no complaints there. Okay. And like, what purpose did that beginning part I was at serve, other than maybe, here, we want the player to feel like they're in this world and then this is what's happening. And that might be more of a mainstream approach. Oh, see, look, I've got a gun. Okay, I didn't do anything. There was a frame skip, though, when I shot. Introduction. Okay. Looks like you got skills and stuff. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot to this. Way more than I thought. Because I'm wondering if they're taking, like, the boomer shooter concept, but then adding, like, way more stuff to do. Okay, so there's collecting materials? Not the biggest fan of that, but at least it's easy. There's something over here. I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet, but I see an explosive barrel. And that's all you really need to get my attention. My gosh. The delay when shooting? I hope that's just a... Oh, I just threw a grenade. So like a boomer shooter, there is no zoom in. You just shoot to shoot. I guess this is the right way. Can't just climb up. Okay, and there's elements to the weapons. Neat. Oh, there's a red... Oh, okay, so... It looks like it takes some time. Oh, okay, I can hold down. I was thinking I was holding a giant shotgun or something. Skill unlocked. Rage, okay. Looks like there's a lot of stuff around here. I do like the exploring. Oh, did that hurt me? Oh. Okay. I gotta say, it feels good. It's very familiar. I like the way the environment looks. Let's see. I don't feel any sort of... Oh, is this the area I'm supposed to be in anyway? I don't really feel any sort of hook. You know, that's like, oh, I gotta keep playing this. Even though it does play pretty fun. Okay, so I probably just have to get up there. Oh. Okay, there is a run. Dungeons. Oh. Are randomly generated each time you create a new character. Okay, so I'm starting to get a feel of this game in terms of like it being like a non-persistent sort of... There you are. Go on, you can enter now. Let me hit the camp. Okay. I got to go, but I was just about to enter. So, let me save and quit. Maybe I'll resume. So what we saw from Second Son is it plays kind of like a low budget, non-commercial, like boomer shooter. But I gotta say, like, its presentation's pretty good. When you get in the game, it does kind of look a little, what do you call it? Low budget, but that might not be necessarily a bad thing. It felt great. Even though I was saying there's a lot that tend to be going on with, you start at a little camp, you talk to people, okay, I want to play the game. It did kind of quickly get to like, okay, you're going to be getting loot, XP, dungeons, all that type of stuff. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. You notice that was a lot of fun talking. We will talk again later. Have a good one, everyone.